So now we're going to do an exterior walkthrough on this 2018 Timber Ridge 24 RKS Titanium Series. The first thing I want to talk about is setting up the vehicle. So when you're say you're backing into a camping spot or what have you, you're going to want to roll up onto blocks to level side to side first. So the first thing you want to deal with is leveling side to side before you unhook your tow vehicle. So if you're low on this side, for instance, you can make your little pyramid with the orange stackable blocks and roll up onto them and get level side to side first. At that point, you're going to want to chalk the wheels in one way or shape or form there. Then you can unhook your tow vehicle and you can raise or lower the electric jack to get level front to back. So now you've leveled side to side, you've chalked the wheels, unhooked and pulled away, and then leveled front to back. So now that you're level and you're stable and where you want to be, we can run down our stabilizer jacks, and these happen to be electric on this Titanium edition. So you can either use your touchscreen handheld remote, and we have a video on that, or right in this compartment here, you have front jacks and rear jacks. Switches right there on the upper left corner. Okay, so the front run together and the back run together. Don't worry that one leg might hit the ground first, right? So the right leg might hit the ground before the left leg, but don't worry about that. As soon as they both touch the ground, they're going to push together. You're going to kind of feel that pressure as they kind of are stabilizing, and usually they kind of limit out when they get that pressure, or you can use your best judgment and just kind of stop if you feel like that's a good amount of pressure. So you're not trying to lift the trailer too much, just stabilize it so it makes it extra sturdy when you're walking around in there. So now we're just going to go around the outside and kind of talk about some features here. Here's a couple 110 outlets. If the trailer's plugged into shore power, you can run power off to your party lights or something outside here. You have outside speakers. So right on the stereo it says zones 1 and 2. 2 is outside, so you can play that music out here. This one is equipped with a portable solar port, so you can plug in one of Zamp's portable solar panel kits and lay it out on the ground. Also in the compartment here is the battery disconnect. You can rotate that dial and shut the batteries off, and that's mainly if you have to go store the vehicle off-site. And we'll probably need to have a whole nother video on how you store your vehicle away from the house or what have you. But you can shut the batteries off, turn the little solar panel on, and trickle charge the batteries while it's in storage. Not recommended for winter, mainly like your camping months and things like that when it's a little bit easier on the batteries. There's one more little switch in that cubby, and that turns on a light right down here above the batteries. So in these outdoor RV trailers, they also come with backup cranks. The little one here is for the electric tongue jack, just in case. You also have one kind of strapped up here to the top of the compartment. That'll be a backup for the scissor jacks, the electric stabilizer jacks, just in case as well. They also come with a 12-foot barbecue hose kit that's going to go up here on the tanks. And let's talk about the propane tanks. So the barbecue fitting is going to be right over here in front of this green fitting. That way it's before the regulator and it's high pressure. So you can run that elbow and that hose over to like a Weber barbecue or any barbecue that takes a green cylinder that's high pressure. So with this automatic changeover regulator, we leave both these bottles open. So we just leave them both open. I like to leave them loose so you can just quickly feel that they're open. And this little pointer right here on the left side is telling us we're running the left-hand tank first. So what it's going to do is as soon as this is getting gas, it'll be green here telling you you're getting gas, everything's good. When this first tank runs empty, the one we're selected on here, it'll go red telling you that one's empty, but internally it'll start pulling off the next open full tank. So if in the middle of the night you're running the heater and that first bottle goes empty, you don't have to come out here and switch anything. It'll do it for you internally. But it stays pointing red to the empty one so that you know that one's out, and you can rotate the dial and go fill up the empty one. So pretty slick little automatic changeover there. Batteries will go right back behind the propane tanks. We do sealed 12-volt batteries, or we do wet 6-volt batteries. There's a wide selection of batteries and battery options. We always run 2, obviously, for the maximum amount of power, and then you can utilize all your great solar options and things like that. This one is equipped with a cable toy lock. You can bring the cable lock out, lock up a generator, bicycles, anything like that. Cable self-retracts back in the little housing there and stores away. Pretty slick. We'll just keep working our way around the side here. Right underneath this light is the sewer dump. You can kind of see the end of the sewer pipe here, which would normally have a cap on it. Obviously, this is a new vehicle that's not set up yet. But left and right, it's going to be hard to get underneath there. It's fine. There's 2 handles on this one. There's a gray handle and a black handle, and they're shoulder width apart right underneath that light there. The black handles the black tank, so you want to dump the toilet first. You want to pull that, dump the toilet, get rid of that. Leave it open if you want to use the Santa flush, and think of that as a pressure washer for rinsing out the black holding tank. So you dump the black tank, get rid of the toilet, leave it pulled open, flush it out with a different hose other than your drinking water hose, and that cleans that tank out really well. Shut that off, close up the black, then you can dump gray. The shower water kind of rinses out your sewer hose. This model is equipped with 2 gray tanks, so we would probably just dump this and then just dump the kitchen tank. It's right behind the axles, put the sewer hose in the bumper, and off you go. So you can also rig up a Y to where they Y into the same inlet in the ground, but I find it easier with my personal vehicle just to dump this one, simply dump the kitchen, which doesn't have a bunch of water in it for just washing dishes. Do that last and you're all done. Always leave the black tank closed, even if you're in a park. Always leave that black tank closed because you want that water and that chemical to stay in there so that when you dump it in volume, it helps pull everything out of that septic tank. So you can sure leave the gray open if you want to let that go as you shower, but always leave black closed and dump it in volume. Slide out is virtually maintenance free. And let's move around to the back here, but we have a slide topper on this one. So any debris is going to land on that slide topper. When you run the awning or run the slide in, everything's just going to roll right off that awning topper there, so pretty slick. Maintenance-wise, with that topper, keeping the top clean, it really cuts your maintenance down to just occasionally, probably seasonally, you can silicone spray these tracks just to keep it nice and lubed. Silicone spray dries so clean. That's what we recommend for anything that's moving, any moving parts. Dries very clean, doesn't collect any dust or grime, things like that. So if you keep those 4 tracks nice and lubed, once a year, it'll just run in very, very smooth. So very little maintenance. Here's the freshwater fill. This is where you're going to fill the freshwater tank. So say water that you're going to take with you to the mountains, you can just put the hose in there and gravity fill the freshwater tank. When it pours back out at you, it's all full, or you have a monitor panel inside. You can check and see if it is in fact all the way full. Probably best to fill it about half speed. You want to make sure that it's breathing and venting as fast as it's filling. So just don't kick it on full blast, make sure it's venting. This is the city water inlet. So if you're in a campground and you hook up a water hose with a pressure regulator, because a lot of these parks have very high water pressure, that'll put the pressure right in the line. So just like your house, you open up a faucet, there's pressure coming through that hose, and you're ready to roll. With the tank, you're going to turn the pump on more in a camping setting off grid, and you can turn the pump on, draw it up to the faucets. Next is the outside shower. There's a 60-inch hose in here and hot and cold water, so it's kind of nice. If you need to clean up after doing the sewer, you can have some soap and some hot water outside. Here's the water heater. Not much to do inside the water heater door, but it's all ran from inside. But on these water heaters here, they'll have an electric reset and a gas reset. Not common to have to reset them or anything, but just wanted to make you aware that there are resets out here if everything else has been exhausted and you still can't get the water heater to go. A couple resets hiding out here. This one has the anode rod drain, which is that about a foot long rod in there that the minerals in the water eat away at to prolong the life of the tank. So it kind of sacrifices itself to make the tank last longer. So every couple of years, if that gets chewed up, you just replace it. They're about $10 or so, and it keeps that tank all protected. If you're ever going to drain it, they give you a kill switch right over here in the corner, and that, if it's on off or off, that will kill the electric element outside, so that if you drain it and somebody goes inside and turns it on or bumps the switch or whatever, the element won't go bad. So that's a protection switch for the guy draining it. Back here in the bumper, you can simply just squeeze these plugs and pull them out, and that's where you can store your sewer hose for travel. We also have cable and satellite ready hookups here. A lot of guys are buying portable satellite dishes and watching those football games out on the road. It has the disconnecting power cord. You just kind of line up the teeth, twist lock it, and then thread the gray ring on, which is going to hold it on nice and snug. You want that electrical connection to be nice and snug, so always do that gray ring. This trailer is a 30 amp supply, so you always want to run directly to 30 amp, which is no adapters to run the air conditioning. If you're reduced down in power to like an extension cord, you can do everything else in the vehicle, just not air conditioning on this particular rig. You always want 30 amps if you can get it. It has a 250-pound hitch receiver for storage racks, bicycles, all that good stuff. Furnace access, refrigerator access, and then the vent for over the stove. There are 2 tabs here that you can just thumb open when you're ready to use the vent over the stove there. But by locking it, pushing it closed, and locking it, it's just better for travel. It's not going to sit there and flap around on you. You know, like with the water here in the refrigerator, you know, very rare that you need to get into these outside access panels, but you could get in there for occasionally and blow out the burner area, keep the burner area clean and free of debris, and just keeps everything running in tip-top shape. Obviously, you can have a spare tire installed back here, and that is basically the exterior of this 2018 Timber Ridge 24 RKS Titanium.